Hey folks, my name is Pravus. Welcome to a new indie game called Incremental, which can basically be summed up as the following.
Unleash my orcish hordes!
But sir, they're all dead.
It's fine, we got billions more, they'll win eventually.
As you can probably guess from the name, this is an incremental game, which seems to be a genre going through a renaissance right now. I'm seeing a lot more indie games with this style of gameplay. And if you don't know what I mean by incremental, it's basically do thing so that you can get upgrades that make you better at doing thing faster, so you can get upgrades faster, so you can just scale thing to the moon. That's kind of the idea. Think clicker games, but like actually better. This particular game caught my eye because it looks like it's inspired by games like Warcraft 2 and also the Direct Strike mod game for both Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 2, which a lot of people do like. So it's kind of an auto-battler, but the point is to just build bigger hordes, take on more and more elves, and just get stronger. So as you're going to see here, we basically just spawn an orc, in our case. They run forward and kill whatever elf has been spawned to fight me, and then when we win, we collect some money and the wave resets. The way you're supposed to play the game is you are going to defeat a wave, and then you're going to be able to progress into the next wave, which is going to be a little bit tougher, more enemies, different types of enemies, etc. And as you gather up this gold, you can spend them at different characters in order to upgrade your units and make them more effective. So for example, maybe I want to have some extra health on my orcs. We can certainly do that. Or an extra 20 damage, which anything that increases base value that much is actually pretty good. We also can cast a fireball as the player just by clicking on the map here. And you can see, while it doesn't do a lot of damage up front, it's pretty good for disrupting the enemy. And what would have been a fight that maybe we can't win with just one unupgraded orc now becomes very easy for me to do. Now, pretty early on, something you're gonna want to do is get yourself a portal upgrade. By doing that, we can go ahead and click on this little area over here, and we can see where we can deploy all of our units for every consecutive wave. So we have a handful of different buildings here that I didn't exactly place, but I mean, they're going to be able to just spawn various units. I can have, in this case, 5 power on the battlefield, which we can upgrade later. So I'm going to draw some additional units here and see what we can get. Well, I just happened to get a rare shaman just now. I can't say no to that. I'm going to go ahead and pick him up. This is a range unit that has nice projectile chains and stuff like that. He's going to give me a lot of DPS. I can also get some additional upgrades. I wouldn't mind getting another orc warrior. A catapult is tempting. Question is, do I want that right now? I'll just go ahead and pick it up so I have it on hand. One more upgrade, a rare orc warrior. Yes, please. Alright, so let's make sure we actually can put these guys out on the battlefield. So we're going to take all of you guys. This catapult, unfortunately, can't get on yet, but with these extra orcs in position, should be easy enough. So from here on out, every wave is going to look kind of like this. So if I pop back into the game here, we can see these guys are running around and pretty much instantly obliterating everything in sight, which means we are progressing down these levels relatively quickly. The further along in the game you get, the more enemies spawn, the faster you can get more money, etc. The whole point is basically get the best upgrades so you can take on the most foes possible so you can upgrade faster and rinse and repeat. I'm going to go ahead and get some upgrades for things like extra attack speed for my warriors. That doesn't seem like a bad idea. A bit of extra base damage wouldn't go amiss either, and I'll just go ahead and increase the damage of my fireball so it's pretty easy for me to help clear out some of the waves. I'll also just go ahead and buy a demonic extractor, which is a kind of a little goblin guy who's just going to run around and pick up the gold coins for me, so I don't have to worry about that. Otherwise, you just like hover your mouse over it, and you'll be fine and ready to go. One reason you do want to progress and actually, like, you know, complete waves instead of just sitting and farming the same easy ones is the first time you beat a wave, you get a bonus of money. So if you're strong enough to just go ahead and move forward, you absolutely should. Now here at level 10, we're actually fighting a boss, a wizard who's now casting a whole bunch of spells. He's already dead because I'm just that strong, so I'm not even worried about it. Let's go ahead and keep boosting up some more damage, get additional health for my units. I want them to survive a little bit longer. The longer they're able to survive and kill things, probably the better. But we're also reaching a point pretty quickly where I'm going to want to be able to get more units on the field. If we want to do something like that, we're going to have to start unlocking more characters. You'll see down here we have this high shaman. He's the one who gives me all these basic upgrades, mostly affecting the orc warriors and not much else. If I get the dealer, an alchemist, we'll be able to get even more upgrades. This guy can make my shamans, which we don't have many of, a little bit faster in their attack speed, have more range. or we could just go ahead and start increasing how many units we can have in the warband, which you can imagine is very powerful. So let's go ahead and pick up, like, let's say 3 of those upgrades. I'm sure I can make use of it. I'll place down a catapult over here because this guy is going to have some incredible attack range. And let's see what else I can find. A witch doctor? Yeah, absolutely. These guys are awesome because they're going to toss some healing goo on the ground. And healing goo keeps my units alive and well sustained, so how could I say no? Another rare orc warrior. Sure, rare things seem like better than just normal things. If the opportunity presents itself, then I'm absolutely going to be making use of it. Let's go ahead and put you up over here as well. Okay, popping back into the battlefield. The money's starting to flow in pretty nicely now, which I do like. Mostly helped by the fact that we have a shaman doing chain lightning attacks instead of just a normal attack, which is, well, it turns out pretty darn good. So we're just going to keep doing this for a little bit, but once we get to level 20, we will fight ourselves another boss. Now, are there any penalties for losing any of these waves? No. If you lose, then the game literally says we have an unlimited supply of orcs on the other side of the portal, so just keep going. It'll respawn your army and you can keep trying. Now, obviously, if you're at a point where you're losing consistently, that might mean that something's wrong with your army, and you may want to back down a level or two into something you can farm more consistently so that you'll be able to just farm out additional money and get more upgrades, which, you know, yeah, that's pretty helpful. What it does mean is because there's no penalties to losing, you might think, well, what's really the point? All I have to do is just, like, plop these guys down, and then I could just let this game run and walk away for a couple of hours, and I will have tons of money to just get more upgrades and keep doing that. And the answer is, yeah, you could do that. However, there is an incentive to get as far as you reasonably can and then intentionally end the run so you can do something else and start over. Why? Well, it's going to be this character right over here, the accursed elf. This lady right here has a feature called Dark Rebirth. It is going to reset your entire game from the beginning, and you are going to gain a currency you can use to upgrade your army and unlock new things. So in this case, right now, since I've gotten this far, if I just quit and started over, I'd get 5 Dark Rebirth. This currency right here, which I could use to do things like increase how much blight I'm able to get, or spell regeneration speed would go up, unlock rare unit enchantments. You get the idea. Also, new units, which is kind of important. You start off with only the warrior and the shaman. Adding in just a witch doctor and then the catapult is a pretty substantial improvement for the game. Oh, we just killed the boss. Whoops, I didn't actually even know I was doing that. That's how good we are. Let's go ahead and pop back in, and the good news is we'll be able to do it again. So we're just going to spawn a quick little demon boss over here. My guys are going to run forward. He's going to do some splash damage, but with these rare units, I'm so strong and I'm healing through whatever he can do. This guy poses no chance. Now, the good news is bosses like this are really easy to farm out, so maybe we just want to click this button and say, hey, don't actually progress to the next wave. Just keep farming this guy, and in the meantime, if I want to go, I don't know, draw some additional units or something, we can, and the game is still running in the background. So we're still winning and probably gathering up money, and we're in really no rush whatsoever. What are some other upgrades I might want to get? Well, I'll go ahead and boost up how much power I can have because more units is still better. And let's toss on, let's see, I can't do another catapult because we just put on another shaman. Do I want this shaman? No, I think I'll pull him out, put in a witch doctor instead. That'll be a little bit more effective. Take out one of the weak orcs, put in another catapult instead, and this should still be enough of a front line. But now I've got splash damage and healing, which is going to make me very, very impactful. So let's see how this army does against the boss, and we'll use that as a quick benchmark to see how we're doing. Yeah, seems pretty reasonable. And with all this green healing goo going on the ground, he can't do anything to me. Easy farming. Now, I'll go ahead and let us advance here, because every 20 levels, once you beat this summoned demon boss, you are going to advance into a new biome. We are going to find a whole bunch of new enemies pop up. Yeah, we have slightly stronger archers and stuff. Eventually, we're going to have some paladins and knights. They're going to have healers of their own, some catapults, etc. The game does get progressively harder in that way. That said, with the catapults, I'm already doing so much damage, I feel like we can easily take on some larger challenges, so let's not worry too much about it. You can also get some additional upgrades for you as a player. So, for example, I can get the Inferno ability, and if I hit Q, I just launch a whole load of fireballs a lot faster. So let's just go ahead and do that and just go pew, 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 pew. Helpful, especially when you first start this game out and you don't have any blight giving you passive bonuses. So sometimes the fireball is the only way you'll actually progress in some of the earlier levels. But that's exactly why the Accursed Elf exists. Get as far as you can, click the button, get some upgrades, unlock new units, and all of a sudden it becomes a lot easier to keep keep progressing passively while you do other things. Your units can also get some upgrades of their own. For example, I can have a rage ability for all of my orcs. They get a lot of extra attack and movement speed whenever they fall below a certain threshold of their health. That could be pretty good. Same thing can be said here with things like my shamans. We can give them additional projectile chain counts. Or my little witch doctors can throw additional flasks and maybe start making it so I boost my attack speed or slow down their attack speed, etc., etc. And all these upgrades end up being very, very strong. Fortunately, progression is being very easy on me right now simply because I have played a couple of rounds, and you can get a whole lot of things unlocked just by getting pretty far in your first couple of games. So all these extra units and stuff are making my life a lot easier. But just for the sake of showing you how like this whole Dark Rebirth thing works, let's suppose I want to unlock the Dragon as a new unit that I can pick up, which if I can find one, looks very much like the art from Warcraft 2. But you can imagine a dragon would be pretty strong. Didn't find one this time around, but we did find some totems. These can be kind of interesting because you can get some really good abilities to just passively boost up your army. So for example, if an allied fighter has rage and he dies, he explodes and does a whole load of damage. Really good if you have a lot of orc warriors. I want to get the Iron Snake, though. Every 5th hit taken by a fighter is reflected in a 200 unit radius. That's really, 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 really strong. Not getting lucky. Oh, there we go. I was going to say, we finally found a dragon, and it's a rare dragon. Nice. All right, this guy also comes with agility, total damage boosted even higher. Takes 3 power in order to have, but hey, with the amount of money I'm farming out, this shouldn't be too bad. There we go. Dragon. Oh, it's going to be nice getting those out on the field for sure. We are already up to level 30, which means we have our next boss. I'll just do a quick flurry and start hitting him a little bit faster. He's trying to hit me, but he's just not doing nearly enough damage, and as long as I get my healing flasks in position, he doesn't last long, does he? No, sir, he does not. So now you can see we're fighting these much stronger knight guys. Not that it matters, my rare units are really good, so they die extra fast. Here, by the way, I've added in my Iron Snake. You can see that as we take damage from these archers, it just starts launching attacks at everything around it. Ends up being a very, very, very powerful ability. And if I wanted to, by the way, since we've gotten this far along, we could absolutely just restart the run with the accursed elf over here, and you'll see now I would get 21 blight at the next Dark Rebirth. So the further along you get, the more things you've bought, the more units you have on the field, the more waves you've defeated, that's how you're going to get a lot of Dark Rebirth. You really want to just go as far as you can before it feels like you just kind of hit a wall. And once you do that, just go ahead and restart, start getting better units, more upgrades and stuff like that, like 30% more health for everything, obviously gives you a pretty big advantage. And then you just take on bigger, better stuff. Let's get some upgrades for my Witch Doctors, by the way. The new Celerity Flasks means that we can boost up attack speed for some of my units and stuff like that, which will be quite nice once we put those on the ground, which I assume are those red pools we just saw there. Seems like it. Friendly units that come in contact with their goo get a temporary increase in attack speed. I mean, no matter what, that just makes everything more effective. How can it be upset? By the way, that was a level 50 boss, and we just demolished it. There we go. Oh, okay, yeah, the enemy has some healers now, so we're going to see that it gets a little bit harder to break through their front line so long as these guys exist. That's annoying, but overall, not a very big deal. We should be able to burn through that. My DPS is absolutely astounding right now. Part of that is because whenever you finish up a run with your Dark Rebirth, you then get to choose what your next character is going to be for your Horde, your next chieftain. In this case, I got this guy right here. This is going to boost up my damage by 20, so base damage, for all units, which is really good. Also, he happens to have a bloodline power where I get almost double gold, which means I'm progressing extra fast right now. So this is not exactly representative of the normal game. It's usually a little bit slower and you're spending more time just burning through waves and farming them out. In this case, though, this is a really good pickup on my end. So we're doing lots of damage and I'm upgrading at a record speed. And before we approach the boss, one more thing I probably want to do is get my next Witch Doctor upgrade with the Frosty Flasks, which is going to slow down the attack speed of enemies. Very helpful when you're fighting bosses. So getting that down just greatly increases my survivability, so I don't get stuck on something. I mean, when you play this game, you're definitely supposed to reach level 10 and be like, oh my gosh, I can't progress, and then just keep farming. But we've Yeah, we've had absolutely no problem here. No problem whatsoever. I'm just that good. Speaking of which, here comes the boss. Let's go ahead and have a chance for extra flasks from the Witch Doctor. Let's get some healing down, guys, please. I don't want to... Oh, I lost a unit or so. Now he's slow. He can't do pretty much anything. He still wiped out most of my front line, though, which is obviously a problem. So we're starting to just now hit a wall. A few extra units would not go amiss. Now, I'm sure you guys have noticed, but, you know, the game does get exponentially more expensive with every upgrade that you pick up. For example, getting 2 more power for the field is going to cost me 11,000 gold. That is kind of a lot now. But that's fine, because the entire purpose of a lot of these incremental games is that the game's difficulty and cost scales exponentially, which means you need to find a way to get your own power to scale exponentially. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting around for a very long time watching the screen, and that's not as enjoyable. And that's, I think, what a lot of people like in these incremental games, is it's kind of all about finding the puzzle, the ideal build order that is going to most optimally scale you up. It's almost like a math problem in a way. Now, there is a roguelite aspect to the game, right? The fact that we do have special types of like leaders and stuff means you can play around that. We have a bit of RNG when it comes to what units we're going to get and whether we have any special enchantments. You get the idea, but for the most part, that's the appeal of the game. Now, one thing I do criticize with this game is that the bosses are very repetitive. Yes, they're stronger and stuff, and that should make them scarier, but I mean, really, it's kind of a DPS check, right? You're just fighting the same 2 bosses over and over again. I think there's something to be said about actually having a bit more variety there. Notice this boss, by the way, is almost able to destroy my entire army. That's how strong he's become. Good thing we have all these combined upgrades to actually make it possible to win. Which means I'm moving on to the next biome. Look how many elves there are. Oh boy, well, we'll kill them all. Now this wave's actually gonna be some very easy farming for me. It's nothing but clerics, which yeah, should make it almost impossible for me to actually, you know, kill them. But I got catapults, so we win this fight pretty easily, losing nothing. I could just sit here for a while and then just walk away and just farm it for a while and that would be fine. Heck, one weird thing is I even could just like literally quit the game and I'm pretty sure it keeps running in the background. So let me just verify if that's true. I'm gonna walk away for a minute, or 2, or maybe 20. Yep, sure enough, I collected 839 gold while I was away. Is that a lot of gold? No. But it probably means that if you're feeling really stuck and you want to walk away for the day and just let it play overnight just by quitting the game, that's kind of okay. So just get to the maximum wave you can, I guess, and then just like sign out for the night and then come back and maybe you'll be less frustrated. That's kind of an interesting mechanic. I'm not sure if I think it's a very good mechanic, only in the sense that it kind of leans into what I criticize with clickers, which is basically play the game so that you have to play the game less in order to still play the game, which feels weird, but that's kind of literally what clickers are. And this kind of leans further into that. On the other hand, if it's going to take up a lot of time, well then I guess being, you know, cognizant of my time isn't a bad thing, so Holy crap, this is a lot of peasants. So many trash peasants! Yeah, keep attacking me. My iron snake will obliterate you all. Wow! You know, admittedly, the game does get a little bit loud after a while. That's certainly true. By the way, how much blight would I get if I stop right now? 110. It's pretty good. It'd be enough to get a lot of really good upgrades. Not like the last stuff here with like legendary greed at 500, but some of it would be pretty good. I'm not going to bother unlocking the next character for a little bit, the Acolyte, because I know his first upgrades cost like 20,000 gold each. Every character you unlock does have some of the same, whoa, kind of base stat things, but they get a lot more expensive. I have not seen this before. I've never made it to level 100. This thing wrecked me. Okay, we have definitely run into a problem. I do have some healing goo, so like we're actually surviving surprisingly okay. Slowing down his attack speed, boosting up my own attack speed. I don't think we're able to take this guy on yet. However, we're not that far off. If the witch doctors have lucky throws with the flasks, it seems like we could almost beat this. Almost. Well, I don't know, actually. I mean, the more that these two orcs kind of stack up, the more the flasks just keep hitting the ground right here, which means they heal faster. Maybe we can win this right now. Let's just try flurrying him down, see what happens. But hey, you know what? I was saying I wanted to have a little bit more boss variety. Well, congratulations, I'm getting it. Yeah, unironically, I think we're going to be fine. 3 potions on the ground simultaneously is enough to sustain this indefinitely. I just wish a couple more of my shamans had survived, but a little bit different placement, maybe that would have been more effective. I don't know. I also don't know if 100 is like the last level of the game. I don't know if it goes on infinitely or if like once you hit 100, that's it. Congratulations, you win. Maybe. Huh. No, it's the end of the demo at the very least. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. So we'll keep going here for the sake of just seeing how far my guys can go, but like there's not any more handcrafted comment. From here on out, it's just gonna be procedurally generated, which is fine with me. However, I do feel like at this point the gold generation is kinda slow, at least compared to what I need. So maybe this is the point of the game where you normally would want to give up and say, hey, elf, can I get all the way over here and grab Fortunate Soul to boost up my gold gain? Maybe get a stupid amount of Dark Rebirth and get the Legendary Greed and multiply it even further, and blah, 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 blah. That could all be very helpful. So you know what? Knowing that's the case, let's just go ahead and do our Dark Rebirth now. I'm going to go ahead and click the button. This means we're going to break this amulet in 2 pieces. The run is going to end. We get 137 blight. Thank you, guys. And we get to choose our next chieftain for the Horde. Do we want to have extra attack speed and all alchemist upgrades are enhanced? That could be good. Much more blight, which means the progression is going to be incredibly fast, or better acolyte upgrades and so on. Kind of hard to say no to earlier progression, even though I think this would be very strong. The alchemist upgrades are kind of solid. I'll just take Melgor the Blood Spiller. Bada boom, easy peasy. Let's go ahead and spend some of that blight. What do I want? Let's go for the critical gold drop chance and the Fortunate Soul. Probably do that a couple times. Let's see what else I can get here. The critical drop is even better by a lot. Rare unit enchantments, also rare totem cards, and every 30 levels, my units gain a little bit of extra health. I mean, that's okay, but is that better than 30% here? I don't think so. Not by much. How about more blight gain modifier times another one there, plus spell regeneration speed, and that's going to have to be good enough. Well, we'll get double chest chance. Why not? Okay, this should be good. We should be able to generate a bit of extra money a little bit faster. One other thing that we can do is, at some point with the Accursed Elf, you can unlock something here called the Shamanistic Trials. If we click on this, we can see that there could be some permanent upgrades. So, for example, friendly units don't do damage, but your fireball is 4 times faster, and that means you now need to reach level 60. So it's all about just, like, tanking your units so that they, like, never die, and then just literally manually getting everything killed. Kind of a weird choice. Or all your units have a lot less HP, but they do have lifesteal. It makes the game a little bit harder. But I would be curious what kind of permanent upgrades can be unlocked here, so let's try something like Exterminator. Units will split in 2 when killed up to 3 times, but shamans have 4 extra bounces. Okay, I'll give that one a go. Looks like it actually resets me at level 1. Oh, well, okay. That's fine. I mean, I guess I can't do anything with the elf after this, but we got our upgrades. I assume they still apply here. Actually, I have no idea if that's the case. What if you don't get any of the elf bonuses? If I don't get any of the elf bonuses, then I'm not going to be getting a whole lot of gold or any dark blight or anything here, which would actually be a little bit unfortunate, but it is an interesting challenge mode for the game. Yeah, holy crud, just winning level 1 has been proving to be a challenge all of a sudden. Hello. Yeah, okay, I really need some shamans. Like, for real, I need some shamans. A lot of them. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now we can start burning through these guys. On the plus side, since all the little guys also drop gold, the early levels are pretty easy for farming, too. I'm curious if the bosses split. If they do, that actually would be kind of ridiculous. Oh, Iron Snake is going to be stupidly strong here. If a bunch of tiny little archers are shooting at me, it's going to trigger all the time. Oh yeah, it's strong. It's strong. What's weird, though, is I am finding that sometimes I kill these enemies, like these archers, and a couple of the little guys are still running around, and it says, "You win!" It's like, but I didn't. There are still enemies. What are you talking about? Yeah, case in point. Look at all these archers running around here. Well, excuse me. You can't double stack like that. That's cheating. So, you know, little bugs, little quirks. Here's the combo I was looking for with these guys. Okay, so now I've got a couple of totems here. Every 5th spellcaster attack applies Rupture to a target. What does Rupture do? Well, it means they take extra damage. But now I've also got a golden idol, so if an enemy has Rupture and then dies, heal all allied units by 5% of the Rupture. So now, even though I don't have any Witch Doctors, my Shamans are able to do extra damage and also provide a little bit of sustain from the rest of my army. It's not a lot, but I got a feeling that every little bit is going to matter here. Anyway, let's go ahead and try moving on to the boss again, because now we should absolutely be able to handle this and take on some bigger targets and farm money out a little bit faster. There we go. Get wrecked, son. They do split! Oh, that's terrifying. If those guys are able to cast all their spells while small, that would be a huge problem. Here comes a level 20 boss. Are we going to be able to beat the demon as things stand? Kind of tough, because he has really good splash damage and we have no healing to sustain through it. And he does split, so I guess with enough shamans it's not so bad? Or maybe we killed like the prime one and now we automatically beat the level anyway? No, there's still one to go. Okay, no, I don't know what's going on anymore. Help! Where are my units? No, they're over here somewhere. Get them, guys! I don't know what's going on, but I support you. Apparently we won. Yay! That's weird and great. Let's just farm this for a little bit. That's a lot of money. This is absolutely hilarious, though. I'm constantly having to chase these guys down. Anyway, okay, that was fun. Next biome. It's getting a little ridiculous, though. I'm gonna have to do a lot of audio editing in this video because this is what I get to hear now. Let me just go ahead and turn on the full blast so you get it. Cover thine ears if you don't like noise. Yeah, it's a little bit much, ain't it? Just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, I just had to get to level 60? Wait a minute. I didn't actually, wait, no, I didn't beat level 60. I assumed I had to fight one more boss. Apparently not. Okay, well, I mean, let's just see if we can beat him anyway, because I am curious. Can we do it? The answer might not surprise you, but with this many all-powerful shamans, we wreck their faces. Aw, you couldn't even blow me away. I win. Too easy, yo. Okay, so question. Trial is done. What's my reward? There it is. It's completed. Reward. All of my units apparently get a little bit more damage. Oh, see, that's a pretty good incentive to actually do these challenges. Okay. And then we just pick up right where we left off when I ended my current run with this guy to do the trial, but now we're just picking up, so I didn't even lose any progress. Well, that's nice. So that's Orc Incremental, everybody. For a demo, I'd say it's looking pretty promising. I like the theme and the idea behind the game. If you don't like incremental games, I'm not sure that this is the kind of game that's going to convince you. Otherwise, at the end of the day, it is kind of a grind fest, but it's not such a grind fest that I feel like I'm wasting my time. Once you start getting some progression down, some of that blight, some of the new units, you pretty much can be constantly making progress in your waves. You almost don't have to sit around and grind for too much. And that's good, because it means it feels like I'm being rewarded for playing the game and getting the progression down. It means I can take on bigger, tougher targets. And I am kind of curious how far the game's going to go. I mean, like, we got to wave 100 and defeated a super powerful boss, and that was the end of the curated content, but apparently there's going to be a lot more. How many bosses will there be? How many waves? Do I need to get to wave 1,000? Can this basically be one giant campaign of a game? I guess you could, but if you do that, then you're going to be spending hours between your blight. So that's the only part that gets a little bit awkward to me. You play for a very long time, and you feel like you can't stop and restart your run in order to get your progression. You better be dang happy with the progress you've made so far. Nonetheless, depending on what the price point is going to be for this game when it does come out, if you do like incremental games, this is one of the better ones that I have played, at least so far. So I think it is worth giving a look at. There's going to be a link in the description down below if you do want to learn more. Otherwise, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to hit that like button if you did, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.